So,
Yeah, we need to clap to
we do.
to line up the audio.
I'm ready.
Hey, this is like, have you done the intro already while I was gone?
Mm-mm. I have
Okay,
not.
cool. Well, this can be, since this is our editing podcast, this can be our demonstration of how we sync up multiple people in a Discord.
Yeah, you guys can hear it.
Who wants to count down?
You do it.
Sweet. We'll go on 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, I missed.
Nah, it's fine.
It is fine. You're an on 3 guy. That's crazy. I think that says a lot about a person. Like, are you an on go? Are you an on 3?
I feel like if you're doing a countdown,
Yeah.
if it isn't either a race or you're launching like a rocket, those are the only situations where doing it on 1 makes sense.
So, hello everyone. Welcome to Munch Media. We're finally doing the intro. We've just chatted a lot of shit. Mainly me, because I'm pretty hyper today. I don't know why. Ralph, what are we talking about today?
We're talking about editing.
Editing.
The joy of editing.
Yeah.
The do's and don'ts and our favourite things from it, and the things we don't like.
Yeah. Which for me isn't very much, because I fucking love editing, to put it
In
bluntly.
fact, this is such an editing podcast, we've completely edited Aaron out of it.
Yeah, Aaron is actually here, and we are responding to him, but you don't even know, because...
Yeah, our editing is so good, we're making it seem like he's in Croatia on holiday.
Yeah. Because he's totally not, and he's totally here, so...
He's right here. At this point, just between me and you, I think I'm gonna like edit in some like vaguely tropical sound effects.
Yeah. I like it a lot.
I mean, I'm sure they have like Hawaiian music in Croatia.
Oh yeah. I mean, Hawaiian music's everywhere, dude. Have you seen Moana? I don't even know if that's Hawaiian.
I've watched that film way too many times.
Really?
I lived with somebody who would like watch it pretty constantly.
I've not seen it, dude. Not even once.
It's perfectly fine.
I've heard good things.
Okay.
I've heard good things, but I've never watched it.
It's fine.
It's fine. Okay. I can imagine watching it multiple times is not good.
Yeah.
It looks good though. Man, when I saw how it looked, I was like, Disney are stepping up the game, dude.
They got them monies, man. They
do.
can pay for good
They
animation.
own fucking everything. It's insane.
Yeah, they own too much.
They own Marvel and Star Wars. That's already like, all right. I mean,
Yeah,
like aside from all their other stuff, like, geez, Marvel and Star Wars, dude. That's insane.
Now they own Fox, or they're in the process of buying it.
Yeah,
Because I
something
think
like that.
Comcast has put in a bid for it.
Yeah. Oh, really? Big Comcast.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, I've read like a super duper high stupid number of monies. I can't remember how much it is, but I want to say it's in the billions.
Imagine if you
But
could
I'm
just
not
like
sure.
take that money and put it in your pocket. That'd be crazy.
Imagine if you just like take that money and then use it to solve world hunger. maybe that would be a good idea.
Yeah, maybe.
Instead of
How
being
about-
like, oh, I need to get X-Men.
Yeah. How about like if we edit their transaction values into our pocket because we're editors, and that's what editing is. And if you think otherwise, then you're obviously
I think
not an
you're
editor.
getting editors confused with hackers.
No. Right. Hackers is a bad term. Hackers
Hack the
are really
wavelength, man.
hackers really just edit values to work in their favor. They're not
I'm going to
hackers, they're editors. They're just misjudged.
They're gonna edit your reality, man.
Yeah. No, anyway. All jokes aside, editing. Man, I've been doing a lot of editing recently. I've been working on 2 videos that I'm doing for free because I like editing and I need to start somewhere. And we just finished our college year and I'm working with someone that I'm good friends with to make cool videos and I love it.
What kind of videos, Joe?
There are music videos. More
What?
specifically, Scottish hip-hop music videos. Not the most popular genre.
That sounds like an amazing genre, Joe. Tell me more about it.
It's like, I mean, there's not much to say. It's hip-hop, but Scottish people. It's rap.
Fuck.
It's rap. It's grungy beats. It's bass. Heavy bass. And, yeah, that's it. With the Scottish accent, you know?
Has it got the grime?
It's got the grime. It's got it all.
Nice.
I mean, like, it's hip hop, baby. You know what I'm saying? It's hip hop, baby. I like that. That should be a sticker or something.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure It's Hip Hop Baby was on many records in the 70s. People were rolling around.
It's hip
saying,
hop,
like,
baby.
It's hip hop, baby.
Yeah.
Fuck disco. We're from the Bronx.
Yeah, man. Fuck, that's great. No, it's been really fun. It's been a challenge as well. I've been trying many new effects because music videos are, big on effects, especially like the type of music. I've been dabbing. That sounds that's more.
No. You've not been dabbing. You've not been.
That's
dabbing.
That's more 2018 than dabbling. You know what I'm saying? I've been dabbing a bit in After Effects.
Well, in that case, fuck 2018. fuck you, millennial.
Fuck.
You
Imagine
little Instagram twerp.
Imagine if we just change phrases like that depending on the generation. I guess we kind of do that to some extent.
Yeah, we already kind of do that.
Yeah, but imagine if like dabbling just
Daddy-o
became dabbing. That'd be crazy. Anyway.
I mean, dabbing is already a drug thing, which always makes me look a bit weird with because
little
putting
kids
your finger
doing
into
the El Dabo.
drugs and then putting your finger in your mouth.
Oh, but
It's like,
that's like dip dab as well, though. Come on.
Maybe that's where that comes from.
Well, yeah, the white powder and the white. Yeah, that's actually cocaine. It's not sugar.
Yeah, shit.
Yeah.
That actually really makes sense. That's where that
Crazy,
comes from.
dude. We have cracked the
shit.
case. How did we do it? We're genius.
Another one solved. See you next week for Munch Media's Language Detective episodes.
Yeah, we're coming for
Next
you, Dip
week,
Dab.
Smorgasbord.
What? I don't even know what that is.
Smorgasbord.
Nope, you've lost me.
Smorgasbords. It means like a bunch of nonsense.
Oh, that sounds like a bunch of nonsense. So
It definitely is.
yeah, I like that. Yeah. So these videos, I've been dabbling in After Effects. I was doing this really like effect, right, where there's like goo leaking from the guy's eyes, which sounds pretty crazy.
That sounds gross.
It is gross. It's supposed to be gross. It's like, I mean, when I was saying like grungy Scottish hip hop, I was meaning grungy, dude. This is like grungy stuff. Sort of stuff you wouldn't play at a wedding. Let's put it that way. That's a good way to look at it. I mean, guess it depends on the type of wedding, but like, probably not. It's not for.
I'm picturing like heavily compressed, distorted kick drums.
Yeah. Nice grungy stuff. Grungy vocals, grungy rap, grungy everything. And that's why the edit is grungy also. Because,
Nice.
themed edits. Gotta love them. So yeah, the goo's coming out this guy's eyes. And animating it is a fucking bitch.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
It's the first time I've ever done something like this, and man, it's annoying. So I have used After Effects a decent amount. I'm not like, heavily proficient in it, but I've used it more than your average. But I've never done something like this, so I had to obviously draw out the lines, and I did it by just making a wee circle and then making a bunch of rectangles, and it looked really dumb to start with, as most editing things do. And then I animated it the way I wanted, had to add like a mask and like all the keyframes in and stuff, and had to do some keyframe by keyframe animating, which was not fun, as it never is. But then after I got all that done and it was animated right, I had to style it, so I had to like make the rectangles look like squiggly lines and like make them sort of give them a liquidy look by applying like a bunch of effects. And then I had to
some like translucent coloring and stuff like that.
Yeah. And then just had to do motion tracking stuff. So that's actually really easy. In After Effects anyway. Hell yeah, dude. There's a track camera button, and it literally just takes your clip. So obviously if it's a really long clip, probably not going to happen. Or like, but I mean, if you're tracking a motion of like, I don't know, text or an object, it's most likely you're only going to be tracking it for like not that long. So choose your part of the clip you want to do it. It basically analyzes your clip just with the click of a button, and then it'll give you these like motion points, and you literally just click on the motion point, either make a composition of like, if you want an object, which is what I wanted, because it's easier with text, basically. If you want to do it with text, it's so easy. You like right click on the bit you want, It's like create text. You put your text in. You can design it however you want, how big you want, and it will literally stick to the marker you put, and it works really well. It like perfectly sticks to it. After Effects is crazy. It's really smart. I like it.
Okay, so is that how you would create like you know when you see credits for something but for like in world?
Yeah.
You know, like written on a wall or something.
Yeah,
Is that
perspective.
kind of how
yeah. That's exactly how that works.
Okay.
It's used for stuff like that.
That's spoiled so much movie magic for me.
Yeah,
because that's one of my like favorite mysteries. Is like, how did they get the actor's name to stick to like the window of his car, and when he rolls it down and it's gone?
Yeah, it's actually quite easy, which is kind of sad.
I'm gonna do that all the time.
It's very
now.
effective. Yeah, I mean that's the thing though. You don't want to overdo it. You want to just like use it as like a cheeky like. It's very good for introductions for text and or like for this example because like the camera's moving a lot, he's moving a lot because he's in water, so it's a creepy shot. I like it a lot. But basically, the reason it's been a pain in the ass because that bit was like it took a while, but it wasn't like I didn't run into any problems straight away. It was when I was doing the other eye. So the first eye I did is very straight and it's very flat, but the second eye is at like a weird angle and is smaller. And so when I was designing it for the other one, I ran into a lot of problems that I didn't run into with the first one. And basically, I'm gonna have to completely redo the other eye.
Oh no.
And I basically just have to do this really weird workaround later on in editing, which I'm like dreading big time, and kind of procrastinating as long as possible. No, I'm joking.
That's good. Talk me through the workaround.
Okay, so the workaround is basically because I don't. All right, so my original After Effects file messed up, as they do when you get into the nitty gritty of projects.
Yeah.
You like mess up one thing, don't realize, and then save, and then quit out because you've done like a long session, and then you come back on, and you've already saved it, and you're like, shit, like I've saved it and it's wrong, and you can't undo because you know you saved and exited, and then you're too late. So this happened with me, and then. So I'm going to have to do the right eye from scratch, and unless I did the left eye from scratch again, which I don't want to do, because the left eye is perfect at the moment, I'll basically have to, when I go into Premiere now, with the two effects, I'll have to do like a split screen, almost, so the videos will be at the exact same time and stuff, but obviously one video will have the correct right eye, and one video will have the wrong right eye, and I'll have to basically like half and half it. Yeah, if you know what I mean.
Shit. Okay, yeah.
So I'll have to like crop the videos so that they're like halfway.
Yeah, like perfectly aligned.
Yeah.
So that, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, which won't be like too much of a hassle. It's just doing the right eye again and getting it right that I'm like kind of dreading because I've already spent a lot of time on this not a very short effect. It's a big effect in the video though because it's like at the start, it really sets up that this is going to be like a grungy video and it looks cool and it's not like a common effect. I can't. Like, I'm not saying that I'm the first person to do it, because I'm obviously not. But I can't remember off the top of my head seeing someone's eyes leaking goo in this way with this kind of shot. So, or just in general. I can't remember the last time I saw someone's eyes leaking with goo in a video. But yeah, it looks cool. And I want to get it right, so I need to redo it if I want it to be right. Because right now, it looks okay, but there's obviously something a bit off. So, like, I don't want to leave it not perfect because that's editing for you. Perfectionist.
There's always like one little bit here and there. It's funny you talking about effects in videos.
Yeah.
Because there's a really 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 great documentary called Side by Side.
Okay.
Which is about the rise of digital cameras versus film cameras.
Yeah.
And a big part of that film. That documentary, which is presented by Keanu Reeves, and he's just like because it's Keanu Reeves and like everyone in Hollywood really likes Keanu Reeves, he gets to just go and chat to loads of really great people.
Oh, okay.
And you can tell it's just like, oh fuck yeah, Keanu Reeves, I'll chat to you about this. And it's just like everyone who's anyone in Hollywood, and it's not like an interviewer. It's like I'm just hanging out with my friend talking about film. Yeah. This is great.
That's when you know you're perfect for a documentary because you just bag interviews
so
like it's nothing.
It's so good. Yeah. It's just like you're like you've just been invited along to like a really cool party, except the cool party is just people talking about cameras. but there's this extended bit with like David Fincher, Roger Deakins, and then a bunch of like assistant editors who were talking about colorization.
Yeah.
And specifically like No Brother Where Art Thou, because that was the first film to have special effects in every single scene.
Oh.
Because the entire film was colorized, so that like it looked like really rich kind of autumn colors throughout the whole film. And during that, all of those people were talking about how when they filmed music videos, it basically just like let them do whatever the fuck they wanted.
Exactly.
Because
I love this.
you could like experiment totally and just use loads of effects that like weren't quite finished yet or like weren't in the mainstream yet, including things like colorization and then like warping the lens and doing lots of like really weird stuff with it. And like loads of directors and effects people and editors like love making music videos for that reason, is because you can basically just fuck around with so many techniques and so many different types of things that you normally just wouldn't get to do.
Yeah, for sure.
In like a TV show or a film.
That's how I see it. So like the way I like to look at it is like with books, right? There's you can write a really creative book that doesn't have the usual structure of a book, but it won't work as well. Like just realistically, like there's somewhat of a structure that authors follow when writing a book. It's like stories in general. And it's the same with like film and TV and stuff. When you study film and TV, as we did, they tell you like there's this type of story, there's this kind of, like these kind of characters, and everyone like fits a sort of stereotype. And like, yeah, you don't technically have to follow those, but they're successful for a reason. They work for a reason. But with music videos, like there isn't really anything like that. It's like the only sort of thing you have to follow is like, say, I don't know, it's a really grungy song. Making a really happy video wouldn't really make sense. But I'd say
you can like get that stuff to work.
Yeah, you probably could, but it doesn't have the same effect, I guess. The way I see it is like the only limitations you really have is the music itself. Like because obviously when editing to a music video, editing to the music is very important, and that's my favorite part of editing. I think editing to music is extremely fun, and every time I've tried to edit not to music, I've been very bored. So any videos like I don't know, documentaries are kind of interesting, and like I like how you can manipulate sound in documentaries to add effects and so. I mean, you can manipulate sound in any video to add effects, so it's not. But like in documentaries, music's kind of like a, like if you're interviewing someone, you most likely won't have any music in the background because their voice.
Yeah, and unless it's like a serious thing, in which case there's a kind of.
Yeah, but that's about as complicated as it gets. It's like, oh, this is like a serious moment, or this is a sad moment, like add in sad music, serious music. But with music videos, it's like you really like, it's the song is the main focus, obviously, and you want to make the video bounce off of that and like link in with it. And I love that, dude. Like the satisfaction I get from matching, like I always tell people about this thing where like I drag a clip in. To edit, like to cut in, obviously, and like you don't even edit it, like you don't cut it at all, and it just already fits perfectly with the song, and you just sit there, and you just I don't know, there's something about it, dude. Just seeing the clip match up without you even having to do anything.
It's like the accidental realization that like something has landed perfectly.
Oh yeah, dude.
In the mix. Oh. Like I've had that. Like I make music every now and again.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that a couple of times where like, say there's either like a little snippet of something I've recorded before, or there's like a sample I want to fuck around with. Like every now and again, I'll just like drag it into whatever audio editor I'm using, and I'll just drop it anywhere. And my thought is, I'll position this perfectly in a bit, but like I always press play, and like every now and again, I just hear it and I'm like. Now that's a good. Now I'm gonna pretend I had this idea.
Yeah.
Because that's really good.
Legit, like that's what it's like. Oh, it's so perfect. It's like fate. It's like fate. Like just your life slaps you in the face, and it's like, yep, this is it. That's the one.
You done did it, boys.
Yeah.
But like this is actually something I really love about editing. Is that it's like we're both like kind of proud of these little moments.
Yeah.
And like 95% of the people who listen to them or watch them don't fucking notice.
Yeah, they got no idea. No idea.
At all. And like you'll be sitting from being like, man, I really love that transition. Transition.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I love how I panned that shot right, and then it ended up here. And everybody watching it would just be like, I guess that was kind of cool.
It was a good video.
Yeah, it was good, man.
And like, yeah, totally. It's that's the thing. Like watching, it's the same as like an editor watching another editor's work and stuff. You notice a lot more than like obviously the average person, because you're more critical and more, you're coming at it from like, I don't know, at least me. Every time I watch a music video, I'm watching it from quite an analytical point of view. I mean, not always, but most of the time. And then I'll notice like very small camera movements, or like, like these literally like one frame effects. It's always the one frame effects or like 2 frame effects that like your average person will never, like literally never appreciate, because, well, truly appreciate, because it's up for 2 frames. You can literally blink and miss it. Like it's that sort of thing. But if you really like a music video, you'll watch it back over and over, or at least I do. I don't know about others.
Yeah, definitely.
And then you start to see these things, and it's the sort of effects that affect, even though they don't say anything about it, the effects still have an effect, I guess is the way to put it.
It's like it's like I think the things that everyone notices are like the really big flashy things. It's like, like if you ever watch like a documentary on editing in film, or like a top 10 list or whatever.
Yeah.
The thing that everyone always points to is the shot in Lawrence of Arabia where he blows out a match and it snap cuts to like this gorgeous picture of a setting sun. And like everyone always points to it, it's like, oh wow, that's this incredible piece of editing. But like that's a super like big obvious piece of editing, so it's the thing like everybody notices.
Yeah.
Whereas like people don't notice like those just like those little things where it's like a camera like pans to the right and then like it fades into a shot that's like zooming in the same direction.
Yeah.
And like you can tell that there's like somebody in a little booth somewhere who's like, man, I bet I can keep the motion of this camera moving if I just line this up like inch by inch perfectly.
Yeah, it's
those little subtle things that like, or like those little like 2 frame effects.
Yeah.
That people who are either interested in how like a video is presented or interested in editing pick up. Like everyone else, it's because like it's like pretty subtle, but then B, like editing isn't something that you typically pay attention to unless it's like super in your face, or is just fucking terrible and you don't understand what's going on.
It's the unsung hero. I mean, that's kind of part of editing though as well, especially for film editors. I think like they need to make it seem seamless, so it's like it's not supposed to be the frontal, really. I guess in music videos a little more so, but like it's more supposed to be like the hidden, like it's supposed to flow without you even realizing it's flowing. It's like those camera things.
Flow's the good word. It's like flow, and then it's like the glue that sticks everything together. Like you don't look at like a table that somebody built and think, man, the nuts and bolts in that table, they really were really put in the right place and hold it together. You're paying attention to like the fancy varnish and stuff. You're not, this metaphor is breaking down, but you're.
I get you though. I get you.
Thanks, Joe.
Speaking of either doing the editing really in your face or not, let's talk about some directors that have those kind of styles. Because obviously some film directors will be very subtle. Editors even will have like very subtle effects. And then some directors will be like to their editor, yo, slap this. Get this going. Like get all the effects up in here. Get like
slap this.
Yeah, slap this with your effects.
Slap this.
Yeah, I like that.
Give me my lens flare.
That's what I'm like. Lens flare. I hate lens flare. So lens flare is a strange one. We'll talk about that at some point probably. But yeah, when I'm dragging effects on, I like to think that I'm slapping them on. I don't know why. It's not like slapping at all. It's not aggressive. But
can you get like a plugin for After Effects or
Adobe Premiere noise
where
everything?
if you're slap noise or just like somebody going boom every time you drop something
boom
in.
Yeah, no, that's what it's like to me though. I don't know why. Like if I'm talking to someone about the effects, I'm like, oh, I'm slapping on some effects now. I don't know why. It's just the word I use for it. Just makes sense to me. I don't know. It's layering, I guess, is a better one, but layering doesn't sound as good.
Layering's not as cool.
Yeah.
It's not as good.
You're
slapping on that effect.
Yeah.
But no, tell me about these directors who you love.
To be honest, I'm really bad with names. like actually
That's
terrible.
cool.
And I'm not a huge film person, as you guys all know, especially compared to you and Aaron.
Yeah,
But
you fucking.
but obviously Edgar Wright. Clearly, his name is stayed in my name for good reason.
His name is stayed in your name.
Did I say that? No, I meant to say his name has stayed in my head for good
Oh no,
reason.
don't worry. I'll edit this.
Ah, okay.
I'll
You'll
edit this. Make
that.
it sound great.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I'll definitely edit that.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, he's done things like Scott Pilgrim and Baby Driver. I don't actually know any. Oh no, he did Shaun of the Dead and
Cornetto trilogy. Yeah.
stuff like that. To be honest, I've not really watched those because I'm not like
Aw.
I don't know because I'm not huge on films. If I like a director, I don't just like go binge their films. You know, I think that's
Yeah,
like
fair enough.
someone who loves films sort of thing to do.
You should watch the TV show that they made before this called Spaced, which is a very, very funny sitcom.
Spaced. Okay.
Yeah, and like you can tell it's them, Edgar Wright and his team with like all of their big ideas.
Yeah.
But with like a fucking tiny budget.
Okay.
on like Channel 4.
Yeah.
And, like no time to do anything.
Okay. That sounds great.
It's like the best looking sitcom you've ever seen.
Okay. Interesting. I mean, most sitcoms would be low budget, wouldn't they? So.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, Edgar Wright. Yeah, so he's a very edit heavy director. I don't. He doesn't edit it, does he? I'm pretty sure he doesn't. He just tells the editor
I mean,
do this.
all directors have a say in it.
Yeah, but he doesn't like actually slap the effects. You know what I'm saying?
He doesn't slap you. No, I'm pretty sure he does.
Oh, okay.
Or he
Okay.
he works with a couple of people because
Yeah.
like generally speaking, if you find a director who has like that very specific style, they probably know a thing or two about editing.
Yeah.
Already.
If they're that heavy on it, like.
Yeah, if they're that heavy on it, or they like have a team that they work with pretty consistently.
Okay. Well.
Like somebody I might talk about later.
Okay. That's something to look forward to. But Edgar Wright, yeah, his editing, I think it's sick. The transitions are very important in his videos,
Yeah.
films. But yeah, especially like even in Shaun of the Dead, which I've not fully seen at all. Some of the transitions are just really smart. But in Scott Pilgrim's, when obviously I saw them and was amazed by them, he uses sound very smart in transitions. And to be honest, his transitions are like actually quite repetitive, but you don't even notice.
Yeah. A lot of the time, it's like using filmmaking as a way of telling a joke.
Yeah.
Is the way I remember hearing somebody describe it. Is that it's like in Scott Pilgrim, you've got like the shots of him waking up in the morning,
Yeah.
and then like somebody will like snap out of bed next to him.
Yeah, it'll be like,
And like as
quick
the film goes on, they keep
comedy.
Yeah, they keep using like those quick jumps and those same shots, but like each time it's like somebody new's waking up next to him, or like there's like an additional person.
Yeah.
So it's like the repetition of comedy. Like it's setting you up for something that you've seen before and expect, and then cutting it in such a
Being
way.
unexpected. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
like it kind of subverts your expectation as it goes on.
it's a big circle of knowledge and smart thinking. I like it. Yeah, Scott Pilgrim, also just the effects in that film. Because of the universe it was set in, and it was a comic book and stuff, it was very set up for those kind of effects and the sound
Yeah,
effects.
it really leans into that kind of stuff.
So he obviously knew that going in because he was like, "Oh, we're doing it. We're slapping these effects.
We're slapping these effects.
Yeah, no, with the big video game noises and sort of like almost like fighter game text every time he has one of his fights, like verses and stuff, and like combos and stuff. Yeah, it's all really cool. And obviously, since I like video games, that was a big plus.
Yeah.
Always helps. But yeah, that movie didn't do too well financially, I don't think.
Yeah, it totally bombed.
Yeah.
Which sucks because it was fucking fantastic.
Yeah, which is funny. It got like a cult following though because it was so.
Yeah, which is weird. Like it's one of those films that I just like assumed everybody has seen, but it's kind of crazy just how few people actually like watched it. It's really strange.
Well, I think it's because it didn't so much follow the formula. You know, it's like like I was saying earlier. Like you can do a film, like it still has film tropes and stuff that it follows to some extent, but it's like because the editing's different because the editing's more forefront. I think that would turn some people off. It's like
it like doesn't like a lot of films and a lot of TV shows. It's actually one of like my main problems with quite a lot of TV shows is that they're all like edited and pasted really similarly, and it's just because like, you know, there's a filmic language, there's a television language, blah blah blah. You know, stick to it because it's what the audience knows. Fuck what the audience knows. Give them something new. You know?
Yeah.
Like do a Scott Pilgrim where you were just say like, fuck it, let's have fun, let's go wild with this, and just like smash cut everything and have crazy crash zooms and just ridiculous transition after transition, like lean into the comic bookiness of the whole thing. Like it's so much more interesting than just like, here's two people having a conversation and we're gonna have one shot of them from this person, and then when the other person talks, we're gonna cut to the identical shot
the
of
other
the
shoulder
other person
over the shoulder shot.
Over the shoulder.
It's like
I fucking hate over the shoulder shots.
Yeah, I don't know, like it does work though, which sucks. And like obviously Scott Pilgrim didn't do financially well, so everyone's gonna be like that, and it's almost sad. I feel like it'll never be like that. I feel like it will always, if you want to make like a really financially solid film, you do have to follow these, which is weird to people like us, but like the general public are like, that's just how it is. Like, I don't know.
I think like an exception to that rule would be like Drive.
Oh yeah, Drive.
Like admittedly that is just like a single exception to this rule.
Yeah.
But like a big part of that film's selling point was just that it was such like this tour de force of like style that like people just weren't used to.
Yeah.
And in like an age where like all loads of thrillers and action movies were, you know, just like all like their entire editing motif was just like, you know, cutting in every punch, cutting in every swing, just like copy Jason Bourne. And then like Drive comes out and they're like, no, we're gonna have a 16-minute like opening car chase in which there's only like 9 cuts.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be like, each shot's going to be about like 8 seconds long on average. We're going to make sure that you see everything and that we're not going to just like fake that action and fake the thrills by cutting, or like, you know, adding in a very loud noise whenever somebody hits something.
I also feel like when Scott Pilgrim came out, it's obviously like comic-y, video gamey. Comics and video games weren't like, well, video games have been popular for a long time, but they weren't like, you know, like like Drive is a film about a cool guy driving cars, right? And Cars already has a much bigger audience, arguably, than
people love the movie Cars.
Cars
1, Cars 2.
No, just obviously Cars in general. Has Cars 3 out yet?
What, are you kidding? Cars 2 has been out for like 8 years.
Not 2.
Yeah. Cars 3 came out like this year?
Yeah, did it have that trailer? I heard nothing about it, so it's probably bad, right?
Yeah, I just saw the really sad trailer, and then nobody talked about it since then.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure it just came out when everyone went, meh.
Okay. Well, real cars, like IRL cars, that's got a pretty big audience, and a lot of people think cars are cool. So, maybe that's why Edgar Wright, in his next movie, I don't know if it was actually the one after, but Baby Driver.
He was working on Ant-Man and then he got fired. But
okay. Baby Driver. See, he was too much for Marvel. Marvel were like, whoa,
calm down.
Whoa.
We can only have one crazy guy in our team.
What?
James Gunn's already here. You can fuck off.
Your soundtrack list. We'd have to buy licensing for all this.
We can't afford this. We spent all of our money on that one, on that one song for Iron Man. Jesus Christ.
Oh man! All right, now.
Fuck, I mean, I know Disney owners, but Jesus Christ, Edgar.
Yeah, come on, Edgar. What are you doing?
Come on.
Yeah.
Nobody's seen all this fucking 90s trip hop from Britain. Like, what are you on about?
What do you mean you're gonna go
It's
make
for
your own movie
American audience.
and it's gonna work? Oh, god damn it, Edgar.
You want to put fucking Donk into an Ant-Man movie? You're crazy.
Oh, like imagine that. Oh my god, that would be such a different movie.
Perfect.
Edgar Wright doing Ant-Man. Anyway, so maybe he was like, oh, do you know what? Maybe video games and comics aren't the way to go. Let's do cars. Everyone likes cars, right? So Baby Driver comes along. A film I was very hyped for. The trailers, obviously, edited beautifully, as expected. Trailers are a thing that are, obviously, because it's so much shorter and you've got a whole film's worth of footage to choose. Trailers can be really good. I mean, they can be really terrible, which is surprising, especially when the movie's good. Like, how do you make a bad trailer for a good movie? That's questionable.
A lot of that is tied up with like A, distributors, and then B, a lot of the time trailers for films are made by like completely different companies.
Okay.
Like
Yeah,
companies
yeah.
that are contracted in to do it. So you have loads of stories of films failing, and then the director will be like, that's because they gave all this footage to some random fucking company who like had no idea what this film was meant to be. Like a really good example of that is, last year? Yeah, last year, a film called Hell or High Water, which is like a bank robbery film set in Texas. And the trailers for it are like the most off-putting thing I've seen. They make it seem like it's this incredibly melodramatic tale of like two brothers, and you know, they're trying to like soul search and come to terms with one another, but they love each other and they're going to go out this big dramatic blaze. And like the film is not that at all. Like and you know, the trailer has like really sad, you know, orchestral music playing over it, and it has, you know, like big thump, you know, like big drum thumps, and then some quick cuts of people with guns.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, it's got some action in it. And then you watch a film and it's like this incredibly nuanced portrayal of people who have been like fucked over by the banking system.
Yeah.
So they like want to get back by like robbing a couple of the banks, stealing like 30 grand, and then like trying to pay off a loan. Like the film is this really sad, like nuanced and like incredibly epic like western.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't sell at all.
Nah. To be fair,
Always edit your own trailers.
Yeah.
Otherwise, your film's not going to look so good.
yeah, to be fair, like, I don't think advertising companies have to advertise for westerns very often.
They've not got cowboy hats on. What do we do?
Yeah. Like, oh god, it's a western, but they don't
Oh,
have
God.
cowboy hats.
There's no horses. He's in a car. That's not a western.
Yeah. So maybe I don't know. It's crazy. Anyway, trailer editing's cool. Not something I'd like to do for a job, but maybe like, you know, I do like the occasional one, because why not? If I like the movie or something.
Yeah. I like have a real love for trailers.
Yeah.
Like a real love for them.
Drums.
Like I'm
dramatic drums.
Bomb.
Yeah.
Bomb. I'm going to stop you, Riker. Bomb. No, I fucking love trailers. And yeah, like I would quite happily edit trailers for a job. I do have a real fascination with movie trailers and like game trailers and trailers for TV shows, and like just the idea of like how do you sell something that is potentially like incredibly complicated within like a minute and a half?
Yeah.
Like how the hell do you do that? Like because you've got
And
to
the
like capture the
30-second
tone of
ads
the
as
movie.
well. Like,
The
yeah.
30-second ads always crack me up because it's just like bang, bang, action, bang, sound effect, coming fall,
Yeah.
PG-13.
PG-13, I've got
But
to
like,
speak really fast to fit this in the 30 seconds.
PG-13 based on cinematic middle play in your ear. Sound effects. I can't do it either.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna sit here and go.
Respect to those guys. I'm pretty sure they actually speak that fast. I don't think
They do.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy. It's fucking crazy seeing them do it.
It's like being born with like the Optimus Prime voice. It's like you're definitely gonna have a job. It's like I can speak really fast, so I'm gonna be that guy at the end of the trailers. Ha ha.
Yeah, I know, but like imagine like just knowing that guy in real life.
Yeah. Imagine
Hey,
that
guy, what
guy
you up to?
adding a meme in at the end, like hee hee XD, and you like just no one knows. It's like rated for coming to cinemas near you, hee hee XD.
Yeah, if you slow those voices down and then play them backwards.
No, just have hidden memes like just random shit like halfway through it. Oh, imagine if there was like someone proposed through that. It's like, will you marry me? Blah 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 blah.
She's not answered yet. No one can understand you,
Hey,
Dave. You talk too quickly.
watch the whole trailer. Like, hear the bit at the end. Oh, nice trailer. Oh, just nothing. Oh man.
I like to think that the people who do this voiceovers are just ordinary people. It's just somehow their life is on fast forward because they age really quickly and just move really quickly for everything.
They're Sonic. They're real life Sonic.
Yeah, they're all Sonic. They're all real life Sonic.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey has just been, complete side note, Jim Carrey has been cast in the Sonic live action
Oh
movie.
no! You
As
did not just say
Dr.
Sonic
Eggman.
live action.
Yep, and it's being directed by the guy who directed Deadpool.
Why are they trying to kill Sonic? They've already killed Sonic. They're killing him over and over and over and over.
I mean, I think it's become the story of Sonic
And
is he gets
over.
resurrected once every 3 years, and then Sega
And
fucking take him up back and put a bullet in his head.
it was almost like what Spider-Man could have been, if they kept failing the reboots.
They did keep failing the reboots.
They only did like one. They've done two now, right? Or have they done more than that?
They've done 3.
What was the third one? Oh, Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. I count that as one reboot, though.
No. I mean, like, so you had like Tobey Maguire, which is like, cool, we'll bring back Spider-Man.
Yeah, that worked though.
The first 2 worked.
Yeah, I mean that counts as working. 2 films, come on. Obviously they milked it for the third one.
It works until you like look at it in retrospect and like, man, superhero movies have come a long way.
Yeah, it worked at the time though.
They've come a long way.
Like there weren't really any other working superhero movies at the time though, were there? That was like before
X-Men?
Marvel.
Blade and X-Men.
X-Men, yeah. Okay, so that's not bad then. Like of the 2, like the 3 movies that made
the time they did alright.
Yeah.
It was no Daredevil.
Yeah.
Fuck that film. But fuck, what were we talking about?
Reboots.
It wasn't Spider-Man. Reboots.
Wait, no.
No, what were we talking about before that? Something to do with editing. I could edit this bit out while we think of it.
I don't know, it could be anything, dude. It could literally be anything.
We could have been shit. Fuck it.
Baby Driver. Yeah.
Baby Driver.
It was it was well edited, but I had a lot of other issues with that film that were not editing related. The editing, great. Really good soundtrack, as everyone knows. Probably the best part, to be honest.
Yeah. It's like a very again, like music video kind of related. It's editing to the beat.
Yeah.
It's like being incredibly snappy, and not just the beat of the music, but that transitions into the film's sound effects. Like, somebody slams a car door, it immediately cuts to, say, somebody opening the door of a building that they're walking into.
Yeah.
It's lots of things like that, and then using the sound of the next scene to kind of wish you over to the next part, so that everything flows and moves really seamlessly.
Yeah, which is just satisfying. And it's not easy. They obviously planned the whole film around this, and that would have taken, like, whether the end result you think is cool or not, that would have taken a lot of time to plan out. It's not like a simple, we'll shoot this scene like this. It's like, okay, so to match this one song, we have to plan the scene. It's like, you're literally matching a scene to a song, which is cool.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, because
it's cool.
I think Edgar Wright pretty much knew the entire soundtrack going into writing the film and then directing it. It's like, they very much had like the entire rhythm of the piece down before they even got into it. Weirdly enough, that's also how they shoot the Raid movies.
Oh, okay.
When they like choreograph all their like like martial arts films from Indonesia, and whenever they choreograph the fight scenes in those movies and the dialogue scenes, they like clap a rhythm. It's like when they're trying to figure out what they want to do, there's like 3 of them there being like, okay. And like they like genuinely clap this rhythm so they can like get the flow down when we're doing the choreography, and they then make the choreography like line up with the clapping beats, and they will like either speed up how they clap or change the rhythm when they want like the action scene to go into its next stage. Yeah. So then, as they choreograph it, they're lining up with all of these beats as they go on. And they then choreograph the cameraman, almost as if he's like a third character.
I want to talk about that at some point, but keep going.
It's really cool. Yeah. So then they they time all of the camera's movement and the actor's movement with like the like clapping beat they're doing. And they then film all of the like rehearsals. So that on the day when they actually shoot the film for real, they literally like take that like 2-second shot and like just drag it in to Adobe Premiere or whatever, and just like slot it over the shot that they're replacing.
Oh, okay.
So everything everything like lines up perfectly to this rhythm that they're like just tapping at the side of the film set, and like they do it on the film set as well. So like the reason those films work incredibly well is that there's just this constant rhythm going through it. So even though it isn't like an Edgar Wright movie where you can hear the music that they're cutting it to. It's still lining up to like a beat and a rhythm.
They're following the rhythm, which makes complete sense.
Yeah, like they're following the rhythm. Just the audience doesn't know what that rhythm is, but like it has the exact same effect. It just like isn't quite as in your face.
That's really cool. That's something I wanted to talk about. You brought up with the camera stuff. I've been trying to do that in my music videos. So something I really like is I do it like an action shot, and in that action shot, I try and sort of sway the camera with the guy's movement or girl's movement or whatever. So and match that up with the music. So because they're like vibing to the music and stuff, they're gonna be doing movements that match the music.
Yeah.
So if you follow their movements, you don't even have to think about the music at the time. As long as you're following their movements to the music, you will end up getting your camera movement also in time with the music. So you'll be following their movements, and it'll be in time with the music. So it ends up having this really, like, I don't know. It just looks like it was meant to be like that. I don't know. Like, it's like seamless editing. Like, because obviously filming is such a huge part of it. I mean, you wouldn't edit without film, so. But yeah, it's just the effect that it gives off. It so flows together. It's the flow again. Like, flow of editing is like the biggest part, and it's the whole point of like knowing when to cut and all that stuff. I don't know. Editing is like this beast that you can spend your whole life doing, and there will still be shit you've never tried or just don't even know about. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. Just you saying it's all about when to cut reminded me of It Follows.
It Follows.
The horror film from a few years ago. And it does something that I really love, which is it sets up lots of scenes which look like they're following the structure of a normal horror film. So, but what they do is they like hold every shot like just too long.
Yeah.
So for example, there'll be like a slow zoom in on a window while it's like raining, and like the sound will start to dim out a bit. It will start to focus on all the like raindrops hitting the window, and the camera just keeps zooming in, and you're just sitting there thinking, a fucking hand's gonna smash through this window. But then they just like keep zooming in and zooming it in, and you're like, no, something should have happened by now. It should have happened. This has been going on too long. Yeah. And then they'll just cut to like another scene. Nothing scary will happen. They'll just cut to another scene, and the film like fucks with you so much through keeping shots held and on a particular situation.
It knows about the tropes.
Too long.
They're self-aware.
It knows the tropes and it's playing with them. And like just holding the scenes too long because like you're constantly expecting something.
Yeah,
to
you're
happen.
on edge for the horror. Like
constantly on edge throughout the whole thing, which is just fantastic. Because like I really hate it when well, there's either two sides to this. There's either the like the very predictable type of edit, which can be really satisfying, where almost like a drop in a song, like you're expecting the cut to come, and when it does, it feels like just in the right place at the right time. And then there's the stuff where like It Follows, where they just let it kind of bleed over and last too long in a way that's really uncomfortable. We've been talking for a while. Do we want to talk about maybe some like things that we think are well edited, or like good examples of stuff for people to check out?
You can. I mean, like, see, if I do this, a lot of it will be Korean.
Just I was waiting for this to happen.
Yeah,
I've actually got a recommendation just for you.
Oh, dude. Interesting.
So that'll be our lead-in. I'll start with this, and then you can talk about some sick K-pop videos for people to check out.
Okay.
So, as a film, I think it's a bit samey and maybe not the best. But there's a Korean film called The Villainesses, which came out last year, which is like an action film about a group of female assassins. And like the story's a bit all over the place and all this kind of stuff. But like 3 minutes into the film, it was doing this POV shot of this female assassin just running through this building of gangsters, just fucking mowing everybody down. And then you follow her from her point of view as she's fighting all these people in this ultra-violent thing where she's, grabbing knives and cutting them and throwing guns at people and then grabbing this and slashing this guy with this. She runs into like a gym, and they must have practiced this so much because the gym is just filled with mirror walls.
Okay.
So they must have practiced this so much not to get the camera in.
Yeah.
But she comes up against what's basically like a boss fight.
Okay.
And with all these guys with like different coloured tracksuits, like their Power Rangers. and she goes up against them and fights them all. And there's a bit where like the main dude grabs her. This is still from her point of view. Throws her towards the mirror. So like you see her face like in reflection going towards the wall. As soon as it smashes the wall, the camera like pulls back as if it's just like detached itself from her.
Yeah.
and then it continues in like this very elaborate fighting scene. But the thing I realized like 2 minutes into that whole thing, with like the color palette, the pacing of it, the way that people move, it was like, I bet everybody who made this worked on a lot of K-pop videos. and like sure enough, you go and you look at the credits and you're like, motherfucker, these people made a lot of K-pop videos.
Okay, yeah. So that, yeah.
And especially when you get into the scenes which are like a lot of people who are clearly on a soundstage, and they're like moving between like a red light to a turquoise light to a purple light, and then there's like some smooth transitions where somebody jumps and then all of a sudden they're jumping out of a window in a different location and they land on a car and all of a sudden they're in a car chase in a different part of the city, and it's just like, these motherfuckers made some K-pop videos. Yeah, I think that's something you should definitely check out, just to be like, man, I love that K-pop.
I think in Korea at the moment, anyway, obviously music videos in Korea at the moment are literally like so high production, it's ridiculous. So I think that is part of it. Obviously, like you said, they worked on it. I think there's a blur right now because the camera people in Korea, from what I have seen, are insane. Like genuinely insane. Like the techniques they use and like how because it is all completely scripted. I feel like, which isn't always a good thing. I quite like sort of go with it videos sometimes. But obviously being a scripted video that's pulled off well obviously just always looks good. Well, not always, but like it's made to be satisfying. Like
yeah, definitely. You can kind of tell watching a lot of K-pop videos that like it is a very big industry.
It's high budget.
And there's a lot of like high budget, and like there's a lot of like very manufactured kind of vibes to it, and like sometimes that can make it feel like a tad soulless.
Yeah, no, I feel that. I mean, I love it, but I can see why people would feel that. I think that's why Korean hip hop videos are they're kind of like the standout in that, because there's some really like chill hip hop videos, but when it comes to like the groups, it's obviously a lot more manufactured because it's literally what it is. Like anyone can argue it, but like they literally go to a place to train for, you know, X amount of years.
They have just special schools where you can go and learn how to just make K-pop music videos and be a K-pop artist and all this. I
mean, Korea's got like that for everything. Like they have gaming schools and like, because obviously like Korea's like, I don't know, they're so like if they do something, they do it. If you know what I mean.
They do it.
Like if
fiber optics, fuck you, we'll have double fiber optics for everyone.
Like the reason Korea is so big in gaming, not to sidetrack too much, but this is just is because they literally, when they play, it's all about the win. Like fun is out the window, dude. Like the win is what matters, and that is their fun, I guess, is a way to put it. I think in Western gaming culture, even the pros, like they like to have fun in the game they play. Even like obviously if they're in like a pro game, they will try their hardest to win, but because they also have that fun sort of mindset still in their head, because you can't completely get rid of it. Like if you're playing a game, you're playing a game.
Yeah.
Like if I go and play a game, it's
fun. Like gaming, and to like a certain extent, music and all that kind of stuff is still like partially a hobby.
Yeah.
Here, but like for the most part, like a lot of this is just a hobby for people.
Yeah.
But then you go to Korea where it is actually like a multi-billion-dollar industry, and it's a profession that you can have.
Yeah.
It's like you treat it as a job rather than like, I'm just gonna like make a cool video with my friends. It's this is how I become a business owner later on in life.
Yeah, it's really strange. There's a big variety of it as well. Like some like groups are like full on manufactured, and then some are like a bit less, and like you can tell that they've been through training and stuff. But like Big Bang, one of the biggest groups who are currently not active because they're in the military doing the Korean military thing.
Wait, what?
When they turn, by the time you're 30, it's mandatory to do military service.
Yeah, mandatory. Right. Yeah.
Which is also questionable, but that's for another time. Cultures.
I don't know if it is questionable. Fuck that.
It does, but like it's arguable that it has pros, but that doesn't mean it's morally correct. But anyway,
I have one question about that. Can we fuck that? Can we just get the fuck out of here?
Yeah, I mean exactly. Like it's the sort of thing. Like there's pros to it, but do you want to do it? Hell no. Like
not really.
Exactly. What do you mean not really? It's a hell no. No, but anyway.
Fuck it, if it was in like fucking Switzerland, we'd have it. Sure, they're not next to anyone who's pointing a fucking like nuke at them.
Oh
Yeah,
well,
why
no,
not?
like anywhere. That's not something I want to have to do. Anything that's not optional is just silly. School? No, I'm joking. No, it's not as simple as that. Anyway, topic for another video. What were we saying? Yeah, so they
Cool
are
music videos.
their
What-
live shows are they don't even dance that much. Like a lot of the groups have like choreographed dances that are like to the point, and they're like
Yeah.
they're like dancing on the level of like full trained dancers that are from like a dance. People that go to like dance schools and stuff.
Yeah, like it's
like
it's
that.
not like your British boy band who
Yeah.
like, occasionally like point that arm and then kind of
Yeah,
step to the
it's
side.
like
It's like
yeah.
full on. No, we are multitasking like athletes
Yeah.
who are also having to sing
And-
better than everyone
Yeah, and
else.
good looking. Because like in Korea,
And
it's
incredibly
looks.
good-looking.
It's looks in Korea. Like if you're good looking, you'll get picked up by like an agency.
At this point, I'm just convinced everyone in Korea is good
Yeah,
looking.
that's
It's
that's
like, I've
the
seen
trick.
So many
That's the trick.
pop videos.
Yeah, because like obviously all these people look amazing, but like obviously they're just normal Koreans. But like people
normal
just don't know it
Koreans.
because like that's what we see from Korea, and like that's the trick, man. They get you. They get you.
They get
it's
you.
all a big trick. Nah, but I just appreciate how high budget the music videos are, because like
Yeah,
it's not
definitely.
like Western music videos are bad. It's just that they don't have the budget of
They don't
these.
have like the polish and the style.
Yeah, because like
that like Korean music
the
videos
the
do.
reason I think anyway, I'm pretty sure this is the reason behind it, is because in Korea there's big labels, like big labels. So like there's like 3 really big labels that are like well known, which are SM Entertainment, JYP, and YG Entertainment, and they're basically these huge music labels with lots of groups and a history of like really big groups that make so much money, because they do the music, they do all the live shows, like constant live shows, they do all the like extra stuff like fan signings and like these TV shows, variety shows, and they're non-stop working, these idols. Like they don't have days off basically, like at all. So they're constantly making a large amount of income for these companies who put in return, and then because they own multiple groups, they just make so much money. And they're always with that company as well. Whereas the artists in the West are a little bit more split up, so they're not like all under one label. So because they have so many really high money making acts, like they have the money to put into these music videos.
Yeah.
Like they just have so much money. It's ridiculous. Like they have so much money, and they're like, music videos are so important in Korea because idols, it's about their face. It's not just the music. It's the look and performance. And if the music video is good, it'll sell tickets for their live shows where they go and dance. Like I don't know. It just makes sense. And then they keep pumping more and more music money.
Can you give our listeners some recommendations of some cool
Okay.
K-pop videos to go and check
So I'll try
out?
and give a mixture. Okay, this is hard because I have a lot, but
I know you do.
yeah, I'll try and cut down to like 3. I'll go with ones I've seen recently because it's too hard to.
Yeah.
So one I would recommend is by a band called Day 6, and it's called Shoot Me, which is a bit of a weird title, but it makes sense when you listen to it. So it's okay. It's not the best video. The reason I recommend it is not because the whole video itself is amazing, it's the camera work in the video, especially towards the end. So the video is kind of based around the climax, so if you're going to watch it, try and watch it to the climax, which is like the last break of the chorus, because, it's all building up. And basically the concept behind it is like arguments in a couple sort of thing. That's why it's called Shoot Me. So it's kind of like a couple arguing and like the back and forth between them. So even if you don't understand the lyrics, the video will help you. It will guide you through the story.
Right.
And
sure.
the set design, like the set design in these videos is the amount of money they must just pay for sets is ridiculous. And you'll see why if you watch it. The next one is by an artist called Katie, and it's called Remember. So if you just put in Katie and Remember, genuinely one of the coolest videos I've seen in a while. The lighting in this video is the highlight for me, but a lot of things are very good about it. The editing as well, big one. Something I'll note before I go on to the third one is editing in these videos isn't actually that over the top. The hip hop videos,
I've seen some K-pop with some pretty fucking.
I think that there's more emphasis on the filming though. like for sure.
Okay.
The camera work is actually unbelievable, like genuinely. A lot of it you'll think is editing, but it's actually just the camera work.
Right, it's not just like some CGI.
Yeah,
After
it's
Effects
actually
where
just
they
the camera.
make
Like
camera
they put
zoom in a bit.
yeah.
Okay.
This is like this. The zooms are usually real time. Like they're not added in editing. It's because
Yeah.
if you look at a behind the scenes video for a K-pop video, you see this huge claw with a gigantic camera on the end. I'm not talking like a red camera. I'm talking like this is like something you can't just buy like commercially. This is not like a public thing. Like they must get these like custom made. Like it's a absolute monster of a camera on like this big crane. It's not a robot arm though. Like the robot arms are becoming more common in music videos where it like moves really robotically and cool. But this is like a proper like claw, like a crane. Like some guys like directing this in a crane, and I'm pretty sure they like almost code it like a computer. It's actually insane. Anyway, but sometimes it is cameramen as well. But basically, yeah, these cameras they use are no joke, like genuinely, and the camera movement is ridiculous. In that Shoot Me video, towards the end, there's a camera movement I don't even know how it's possible. Like they double zoom on the lyric, and the depth of field updates instantly. There's no delay on the depth of field. I'm like, that camera is serious business. Anyway, final video I'll recommend. Oof. I didn't actually plan this one, so.
Were you just explaining all the camera techniques? So you like think of a third
No,
one, think of a
I
third one,
wasn't.
think
I
of a
wasn't
third
even
one.
thinking of a third one, which is quite bad.
Just stretch it out until you can think of a third.
Yeah. The final one that I would recommend is a music video called "Monster" by EXO. It's not old. It's like it came out like a year and a half ago or something like that, and it might not be for everyone because the theme is like quite heavy and they've got like weird piercings which are all fake and stuff, but the theme is held throughout, and some of the camera movements and like the lighting and the shots and just the theme. It's the theme that I kind of recommended it for. It's very well.
What is the theme?
It's like I don't really know. It's kind of like Dracula clothing. So it's not like that. Wait, no, that's a bad example. It's like black and red sort of like colors, and
Okay.
they've got like weird piercings and stuff. And then there's like a theme of like resistance or like a riot sort of force throughout the video. And it's just really weird and cool all at the same time. And it's the most a generic pop one that I could think of, and it's very popular. So I was like, why not? Like it's one of the more popular ones I could think of. It's cool. It's all high budget. It's crazy. It's crazy stuff.
No, it's awesome. Sticking with the old South Korea.
Yeah.
Like very clearly, there's just this this was like certain style and like pizzazz that cuts into a lot of how they film things, and like definitely how they their cinematography, their editing, all that kind of stuff. I've mentioned him before in the podcast, but Park Chan-wook, the director of like Oldboy and Stoker and all this kind of stuff, has like a really, really, really amazing cinematographer called Chong Hong Chung, which is just like a fun name to say. But the film of theirs I wanted to shout out is the first film that they made in the US called Stoker, and it's a really cool example of all of that like South Korean sensibility being mixed in with like an American film.
Okay.
And it's like some of the I particularly want to give a shout out to this film for its editing. Like everything else about this film is fantastic. It's a thriller that is very much like a vampire story, but if you remove the vampires, so pretty much just imagine all the themes and like stylings of a gothic vampire movie, but you just don't have vampires. You just have a dude. But the film is directed by this guy called Nicholas Detoff, and clearly this dude is like extremely talented and is working very closely with the director and cinematographer. And I think this is a really good example of how like great editors can be unnoticed if they are teaming up with like bad directors or written a bad film. Because the other films this guy edited before this were things like X-Men Wolverine and like Die Hard 4, which are fucking terrible films. But you can tell that like this editor who has lots of really great ideas gets to work with these like quite visionary directors and cinematographers, and suddenly what goes from being like super generic, shitty, fast cutting, like hard American action turns into these like just gorgeous transitions where for example, there's a scene of a film where the mother, played by Nicole Kidman, is brushing her daughter's hair, who's played by what's her name, Mia Wachowski, and she's like brushing her hair, and the camera cuts to this shot, which is like a close up of the back of the daughter's head, and you see like the brush go through it, and all the hair gets really straight, so it's just like lines of like this kind of like orangey brown, and then the camera starts to tilt down, and then as it's tilting down, the hair then really slowly starts to become wreaths of grass.
Oh, okay.
And then it keeps tilting down, and then her hair like becomes this field of long grass that her and her father are walking through, and it's just got like these beautiful moments of transition, which are absolutely spectacular. And the trailer for the film as well used this really, really freaky way of editing, which I kind of loved, which is it kept skipping frames.
Oh, okay.
So like somebody would be walking along or it'd be zooming in, and it would just jump between each. It would like jump further into the shot.
Yeah.
Like every couple seconds, it would go and it would kept doing this, and it like makes the whole thing stand out really, really spectacularly compared to a lot of like other American thrillers that were coming out at the time. And like, it's just such a great example of like how you can learn so much from that South Korean style, and incorporate it completely into whatever it is you're doing.
Yeah, I mean the media industry there has just had such a big boom, like, and obviously like they're very technologically advanced. So like I feel like a lot more people have hands-on with this kind of technology. I feel like here, a lot of people genuinely don't even have the means to edit, which is really sad, because like, you know, a lot of people just have laptops that can barely handle Google Chrome. Never mind, you know, like an Adobe Suite or like Final Cut and stuff. Like, not everyone here has enough money for a Mac. Like, they'll be ridiculous. But I feel like in Korea they have loads more facilities, like even PC bangs and stuff. Like, or totally. They can like go. I'm sure those computers, they have games on them, but they probably have like Adobe on them and stuff as well. Where, you know, you can go. Like, a lot of Koreans don't even own a computer because these places are just better for money. So like.
Yeah, you can just go and like rent out a spot for a little while. I mean, on top of that, there's so much more onus put into like understanding software in schools and in colleges. Yeah. Whereas like here, you pretty much have to get onto a media course and then a very specific type of media course before you're even like allowed to use that stuff. Yeah.
So
and then obviously with like the music video industry being such like a huge staple of like their economy, it's got such like a booming effect to it. Whereas like here in the UK, like if you want to make like a short film or, you know, just like a little indie movie or a music video, like nobody's actually going to give you really good equipment. Yeah. Like you're not going to get access to that stuff unless you're in unless you're in like Pinewood Studios or, you know, something that's absolutely massive. Like even like Film 4, which is one of our biggest studios in the UK, like doesn't have that big a budget. Yeah. It's like you're not gonna get access to
these sets,
like the best equipment, all that stuff. The best equipment possible. But like even then, you can still be really inventive with it. Ben Wheatley and Annie Jump. Wait, let me check this. Is it Annie Jump? No, Amy Jump. Are like a writer director combo. Yeah. Who have made quite a lot of films for Film 4, including things like Kill List and High Rise and A Field in England. And those two, just like their films do not have a high budget. Like they do not get
the funding,
anything resembling. Yeah,
they could get the funding.
Nothing. I think they definitely could, but I think the reason they go with Film 4 is because Film 4 let them stick to like their artistic vision. Yeah. And those two, not only do they write and direct the films, they edit them.
Oh, okay.
And you can very clearly tell that they are people who go into making a film with a really specific viewpoint. Yeah. So like, despite not having the budget or like the money to do lots of like, you know, crazy big effects, they can still make something feel fucking spectacular. Like A Field in England is literally just a film but set in a field in England.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not like, you know, the most spectacular location or anything. And like the actors are amazing, and the
Yeah.
script's amazing. Like it's set during the the English Civil War, and they managed to just make everything look and feel spectacular. Because for a start, they decided we're going to film everything in this like really harsh, high contrast, chromatic, like black and white, which automatically they can, you know, fuck around a lot with, you know, the lighting and the tone of it all. But they have this awesome pacing to it where pretty much every shot lasts quite a long time. Like the average shot time is pretty big until you take into account the points where something really dramatic happens, where they use what I can only describe as like strobe editing.
Okay.
And they do this cool thing where, to simulate one of the main characters who's the mindset of one of the main characters who's going insane / like hallucinating, they start to cut together like 3 or 4 things that different characters are doing. So like the shot will be like 5 seconds long, they cut, 4 seconds long, cut, 3 seconds long, cut, 2 seconds long, cut, a second long, cut, and then it gets into just like strobe lighting, like it's just flashes of what all these different people are doing at this time.
Yeah.
And what happens is like your mind breaks while you're looking at this, and you can only track like one of the strands. And so when the characters in the film like snap out of whatever trance they were in, you, the audience, come out of it, and like it's like if you watch it on a couch with 3 people, each of you might have focused on a different character.
Yeah,
so like
I get that.
I would understand why. Yeah. So like I would understand why like the main character is sitting under this tree at the end of it all. My friend would understand why this other dude is like in here digging a ditch. And like neither of us would have any fucking clue why the other people got where they were, like just any clue whatsoever, because our mind
it's what your brain like is most attracted to, or your vision, I guess. So like
your eye. It's like you have to latch onto something, otherwise it just doesn't make sense.
And obviously different people will latch onto different things. Like when I watch, it's funny that leads back to K-pop music videos, because obviously they're groups. So like with a solo artist, you're obviously looking at the solo artist, but with a group, like sometimes, you know, there's multiple of them in one shot, and then the shots are pretty short because that's how music videos are nowadays, modern short attention span stuff. The, you know, you'll most likely focus on one member in that shot, and then it'll cut away, and you just won't have even seen the other members. Like you'll have seen them in the corner of your eye, but you won't have like seen them, if you know what I mean. So it's like the camera only cut to them whenever, like they will only cut to those people when we're speaking or singing their lines. That's something I want. I want more reaction shots. I want more shots of just the other people. Editors, please stop cutting to whoever speaking the line of dialogue or singing. Let me see what other people are doing. Yeah, I know. We don't always need to see
the bigger picture.
Yeah, we don't always need to see that person up close. Like,
I know. I get it. I know what their voice sounds like.
Yeah, it's like if
I know it's Jennifer Lawrence speaking. Show me James McAvoy.
What if you know when someone says something to someone else, like instead of showing them talking, if they're saying it directly about someone, show the other person's emotion instead of, like, because I think they normally, so say like oh Ben's a dick or something, they say that. I don't know, it's a really bad example, but you get what I mean. And then it shows them saying Ben's a dick, and then it shows Ben's face. Why not just cut to Ben's face whilst they're saying Ben's a dick? And then you really see Ben like react to it and be like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know, like that sort of thing. It's weird. It's weird.
If you want to see like a pretty amazing, it's the thing I'll say is like this is like full on art house. Okay. It's like it's definitely not a film for everyone. But Andrei Tarkovsky's Mirror is like pretty fucking spectacular, just as a film. And there's a couple of pieces of it which like show you editing being used as a way to like really make things either feel strange and to drive the viewer's attention to what the characters are feeling. So there's a scene where he wanted the mother of his household to feel really like uncomfortable and threatened. And there's like a stranger who's traveling through their area, which is just like Russian farmland and Russian forests. And he got this shot of this dude standing in a field, and there's like 2 gusts of wind that like blow the grass over, but like in a straight line. So it is literally just like two very quick gusts of wind, like voomf, voomf, and then everything, all the trees and all the plants like bend for just like a split second and then go back to normal.
Yeah.
And the way they did that is they got a helicopter, and like they spun up the helicopter blades twice, like really quickly, and then they reversed the footage so everything blew in like the wrong direction.
Oh.
Which makes you feel really creeped out by what you're
That's
watching.
when you know, though, they've got budget. Getting a fucking helicopter for an effect. No,
believe me, no. If you watch like any Russian film during like the USSR, the Russian military was quite happy just to give people stuff.
Oh, that's great.
Oh yeah, it was very easy
Hey,
to get.
lads,
Like,
can you
Russian
get us an
military.
helicopter? Can you get us a tank?
No, it like legit fucking like dude, like Waterloo had 20,000 Russian soldiers.
Oh, that
in it,
is
like
amazing.
just playing extras. Like they had people to spare during the Cold War.
Amazing.
But and the other thing from this film, which is a really neat piece of editing the audio,
Okay.
and it's actually something that Andrzej Tarkowski did a lot, was he would focus the sound of a scene on like. He would like kind of muffle out everything else in the scene and focus the sound on one particular sound. And there's this one scene where in Mirror where the same mother is in an apartment and like her apartment's shit, like it's it's all damp and there's like a leak and she's just like not having a good time. Her life's in a bit of a state.
Yeah.
And as this scene of her like in her flat kind of having this existential crisis plays out, the longer the scene goes on, the more and more the sound of like a dripping tap starts to take over. It's like it starts off in just the drip, drip, drip. It's just part of the the bigger sonic picture, and then as she basically starts to like freak out more and more, the sound of that drip just becomes like the only thing you can hear. And even though like there's like no dripping tap in here, like you never see it. She's in like the wrong room for there to be the sound of a dripping tap. That's all you can hear, and it just becomes this like overwhelming, fucking like horrible thing that you can't get rid of.
Oh god.
And it cuts away like the moment somebody knocks on her door, and like complete silence after that. Like back to the original kind of ambient noise.
Yeah.
Good old.
Yeah,
art.
when emphasis is put on like an everyday sound that you never really focus on, that is creepy for some reason.
Mm-hmm. It's really creepy. The thing, so two pieces of audio, well, like not two pieces, a thing that I love in somebody to do when they're editing the audio from a film or a TV show. I fucking love it when it starts and it's just like a black screen and you just hear a car engine revving.
You like that?
Fucking love
You're
that.
about that.
That's one of my that and then like people on radios.
Yeah, dude, radios. Over. How's it going? You don't need to talk like that because you can edit yourself like that. Over.
Yeah, it's true. I can edit it in like I'm about to do now. Target is approaching the vector, cutting in. It's too deep. It's too deep. Moving into the side. Blah, 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 blah. And then credits.
Credits.
Title card.
Woo! I'm cheering on that movie.
What's like a little editing thing that you love to see in like a film or TV show?
In a film or a TV show, I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I do not watch enough TV or film. What did I watch recently? I watched what's it called recently? That one, Altered Carbon. It's weird though.
Did you watch that because you were interested in the video game Cyberpunk 2077?
No. That was before that happened. That was before that happened at E3. It was a nice tie-in though.
Yeah.
No, I watched Altered Carbon because I was just like, I want to watch something on Netflix. I was actually feeling like watching a TV show, which is quite rare. And yeah, I watched it and I really liked it and I got into it and like kind of fell off, as you know. But
yeah, that's fair enough.
But I don't know. I didn't really notice the editing in that, which is funny because we were talking about.
I noticed it a lot.
Really?
I thought the editing was really bad.
Okay, I just didn't notice it. So like I was just sat there. Like...
There are parts where I was like really confused about what had just happened. Like in the first episode where the cop is driving the main character.
I think that whole bit was just bad overall, though. I don't think it was just the editing.
It was very bad overall, but like you could tell they didn't have the shots they needed because there's a bit where she's meant to be like parking the car, and it's such a fucking trope to have a bad female driver. But she's meant to be parking the car, but then like you just see a shot of the car like dip and like veer a bit, and then it cuts and like it's crashed into like a column, and then they're outside of the car, and it's like, how did you crash the car? And like it all happens within a second.
It does happen
like,
really
what?
fast.
Wait,
yeah.
did they crash the car? And like you can tell that somebody editing just like jumping through everything way too quickly.
The acting was really
just trying
bad
to
there
get
as well.
the
It's
point.
like, oh, we're going down.
very
It's like, oh,
bad.
you're not scared for your life at all. It's like,
Nope,
yeah.
that was clearly somebody in a studio months later,
Yeah.
like adding
I don't
in
know
something.
why they even did that. Like, they could have just arrived.
Yeah, they could have just arrived.
It didn't
See,
add
and
anything.
that is where you need an editor to step in and be like, why don't they just arrive?
Yeah, but it's too late by that
Like,
point, isn't it? Reshoots don't really happen,
no.
do they?
No, because what you have is you have the shot of those two characters in the car
Yeah.
saying we're at the location. You then just have the sound of a car door shutting and then cut to them walking down the path.
Are they really allowed to manipulate it that much, though?
Fuck yeah, my
Oh,
dude.
hell yeah. I mean, fair enough then. Yeah, no. Well, the editing was bad. But yeah, apart from that, like, even, yeah, the sequence when he was in the VR or whatever was kind of cool.
That stuff's cool.
The fighting scene was good as well, I'd say, where they're in the hotel. The one near the start.
Yeah, that hotel's awesome. I want an entire spin-off series
Yeah.
that's just this AI hotel.
And the effects were really good. Like, when he did the wall hack thing, where you could see them through walls and stuff, when he was in his old sleeve or whatever.
Yeah, that stuff's cool.
That was cool.
Yeah, hey everyone. If you're interested in the visual style of Cyberpunk, or you're excited for CD Projekt Red's Cyberpunk 2077, just watch the first couple episodes of Altered Carbon. It gets you in the mood for it.
does.
Don't watch the whole thing because it's quite bad, but we'll just watch the first couple.
Yeah,
There's some cool stuff.
it's
in
worth
it.
your time. And, like, you might be a little bit disappointed that the rest of it's not that good, but, you know.
The first episode is fucking cool.
Yeah.
That hotel scene is
Oh, yeah. It's good shit.
fucking
It is
brilliant.
good shit. I like it. But anyway,
Absolutely fucking brilliant.
we've been going on for quite some time, which is good. I enjoyed this. Editing, it's a big one for us.
I think calling this episode an editing episode might be disingenuous. I think we have to call this like editing / music videos.
Yeah, no, a lot of it was music video based. I mean, like, I genuinely just don't...
I didn't even get to talk about Star Wipes.
Star Wipes. What the hell is that?
When it's like a star, you know, when you watch like an old game show and then
Oh,
you see like an image of a star and it goes.
Oh god, yeah, the transition. Oh Jesus, or even the for X Factor and stuff. Jesus.
If just one little last fun editing thing. If you want to have this is like actually a pretty good film. But everyone should go and watch the Thomas Crown Affair, the film from the 60s, not the 90s remake with Pierce Brosnan, but the one from the 60s, which has that really sexy chess scene that you sometimes see parodied in a lot of stuff.
Scene. Okay.
Yeah, trust me, it's quite a sexy scene of people playing chess. I know it sounds weird, but it's actually kind of hot. But the really funny thing about that film is that it was the first film ever to have split screen. Oh, it's actually the first thing ever to have split screen.
But did they do it bad?
And you could. Oh no, it's it's split screen. It's done pretty well, but you can tell that they were like, the editors were just like, holy fucking shit! Look what I figured out how to do. I can have like 3 different images on screen at once. That's fucking nuts. Which, in fairness, like when you are physically cutting up pieces of film and then stitching them together, is really impressive.
Yeah.
But you can tell that they were like, this is our thing. This is how we sell this movie. This is how we make this movie. And just like every fucking chance they get is like split screen, split screen, split screen. Like the opening,
I hate split screen.
Credit type. Oh no, it's so good because you've got people driving cool old like Mustangs, and you've got like this funky like old 70s kind of like jazzy soundtrack kicking underneath it, and then you've got like 6 different identical shots of this guy driving a car, just like on screen.
That does sound quite good though. Like just because it's like so crazy.
It's so over the top. Like you can tell that they're just showing off, and like you just have these images of all these people going like, "Oh my, there's 3 different versions of him on screen at once. What's going on? I've never seen this in a cinema before.
Golly gosh!
My God, what a sexy chess scene! They're showing it twice at once.
Oh my God, it's double sexy. Yeah, I know.
It's double.
Yeah, that's
sexy.
how everyone talked back then as well. You did a perfect impression.
Yeah, I sound like everyone from Mad
Yeah.
Men.
Oh, anyway. Yeah, we're about to hit 1 hour and 30, so let's end it, because it's a perfect time to end it.
Yep. And I should edit this down, but bleh.
Bleh. Screw it.
I'm going on holiday. I don't have time to focus
No,
on
mini munches,
lots of stuff.
they're called mini, but they're not necessarily short. They're just mini because there's less people. That's how it works.
Exactly.
And we don't...
Because we edited Aaron.
Yeah, we edited Aaron out, so... Not because he's not here. So there is actually the same amount of people, but we're in the edit, there's less people, so...
Completely editing.
Yeah. So yeah, you are cutting it
Should I
out
bring
because
him?
you're cutting Aaron out.
Should I bring him back on for a second?
Yeah, you should, I think.
Yeah. Hey, Aaron. Okay, I'm just going to fed you up for a bit.
It's like, yo, go and get this for the tower. No, I just sound like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
And that's it, everyone. So thank you for listening to the Munch Media Mini Munch podcast this week. We've had a lot of mini munches recently, but don't worry, have no fear. It's summertime, and it's been very hot, and people have been on holiday and busy. But we're going to be back, like 100%, like 110%, even though Ralph's going away. So
Yeah, I have some bad. That's not happening
Yeah.
next week. It's happening the week
So
after.
we might have one more mini munch, but I think mini munches are fun, and they're good for now, and they do the job, and they're fun. We're going to be changing the formula a bit as well. We'll have more on that.
Yeah.
More on that, because you know we're finding our ground. We're testing the waters.
Yeah.
We're having fun whilst doing it, so that's what matters.
Yeah, and keep an eye out for a website in the future, maybe someday.
Yeah.
Soon.
Yeah, we're hoping to get this a little bit more professionalo.
Professional.
Yeah, that's what we're going with. But yeah, anyway.
We're also rebranding to El Professionalo.
No more Munch Media. I'm going to redesign everything. Oh god, please no.
Oh Jesus
Please
Christ, John.
no.
I'm gonna have to reinsert all of those fucking backgrounds
Yeah.
now. Oh no.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you for listening, everyone. I've been Joe,
I've been Ralph.
and we'll see you next time.